of last week with Sun Belt Tournament. We was a host here at University of Louisiana. We won game one. I scored 2-1. Won game two by score of 1-0. Summer Ellison threw a no-hitter. And then came back game three, again against Texas State, and lost 5-2. So 2-1 on the week. Very disappointing to not play well in the championship in the third game. But it's what happened. So I felt like our defense, we've been good all year, and had a couple of games along the way where we seemed like errors compound on us, and we made a couple of mental errors on the coverages and broke down. And the game just got away from us. We fought back, tied it up 2-2. And I think at that point, a couple of things didn't go our way. We hit the ball hard and hit a couple double plays, but I think we just mentally maybe wore out a little bit at the end. And especially Summer, I felt like she'd give us so much mentally, I think, over that 3-day period that got a little bit tired there at the end and give up a double and a home run, which I think were about the only hard hit that she allowed that in that 2-day period. So she was outstanding. We've got to do a better job with our offense, and that's been a struggle for us throughout the season. But moving forward, the good part, the team has played really well. They had come in 21 on RPI last week. I suspect they were 21-22 still in the final RPI that the committee seeded off of. And we were able to get a number 2 seed at a very good regional at LSU, and we're really excited about the opportunity to go into the postseason and take on Houston in game one.
Is there, obviously you found out where you were going and what team you faced first. With now a night to sleep on it, maybe to look at some stuff, what more do you know about Houston and kind of what they?
Well, Houston has an outstanding pitcher. She attacks batters. You know, I watched film last night I watched a couple of games last night, brought the team in this morning. We watched more film, watched a couple of games, charted them. She attacks batters. She wants to go at you. She's very accurate. She throws to the corners. She fields her position really well. She doesn't strike out a lot of batters, but they play defense behind her well. And I think it's going to be really important that we're aggressive and that we control the strike zone.
You talked about your RPI, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, and wanted to stay in at 21 because of where it would place you as far as region goes. Do you like where you landed, and do you kind of like your chances?
Yeah, anytime you can stay in that low 20, where, for instance, Texas State, I believe, was 30 in the final RPI, so they go to number 3 team in the country, and they have to go all the way to Los Angeles. And our kids were able to keep their RPI at 21, so they 20, 21, 22 area. You don't know the final RPI; they don't just release it, but we're in that 20 to 22 range. So therefore, that matches up with the number 10, 11, 12 seed, which is usually a big difference between a 1, 2, or 3, or 10, 11, 12. So obviously, we're tickled with our situation, and then to only be able to have to travel 1 hour down the road, an hour and a half down the road, is a huge thing for us as we prepare for a week of practice.
In terms of Summer Ellison, what's the winning formula for you guys to win a game where she isn't perfect, where she's still good but not perfect?
Score runs. I mean, we got to score more runs than the other team, and she always gives us that chance. I mean, realistically, we should have been able to score 5 or 6 runs off of Texas State. It's not unreasonable to ask us to do that when we saw Rupp, now 4 times this year. So I think offensively, we've got to score more runs than they do, and it's an old saying, and it sounds simple, but it's the truth, and it's how the game's played. And Summer will give us a chance to win games this week, and we got to come through on offense and figure out a way to create runs on our side.
When you talk about this regional, LSU and Houston, obviously LSU will be looking ahead, but both teams play very similar. Really good pitching, really good defense. The offense can be up and down at times. Do you like that more when you're facing teams of similar strengths, or would you rather it be kind of strength on strength?
Well, it works out for us the way it's set up. And obviously, you look at Houston and their numbers, and our numbers are very similar. Both ball clubs hitting around 280. Pitchers have got good ERAs. I feel like we're going to match up pretty well. I would expect a low-scoring game. I think when we play LSU, if we play well and we win, or vice versa, I think both of us are going to be looking to keep the score low. I'm really trying to stay in on Houston. We have to stay focused on Houston. It's very important we don't look ahead one step. And we need to go into Houston. We need to control the game with our defense and Summer and keep it tight and then hopefully find a way to win.
Is that maybe a concern, or how do you keep your girls focused when obviously the elephant is in the room that you're at LSU and it's the team that this program faced last year, and obviously you want to go against that in-state rival?
Yeah, I think you just keep everything in order, and you know all we did this morning, we watched film. We watched 2 games of Houston. With the hitting that we did, we prepared for Houston. The defense that we do today will be prepared for Houston. We'll stay focused on Houston and in priority, but also realize that we have to be prepared for all the opponents in the regional before we leave here on Thursday morning. And so we'll go over Wall Jasper, we'll go over Hoover, we'll go over their batters at LSU and Houston, and the 4 seed. We'll be ready for the 4 seed if in case things go wrong in game 1. So we just try to keep things in order, but we have to keep our team focused and realize how tough a game Houston is going to be. They're a really good opponent, and they're going to be a really competitive team that we have to be 100% into that game.
On that note, on the 4 seed, how prepared? Obviously, you don't want it to happen that way, but if you guys somehow end up in a losing bracket, do you feel like your team has been through enough tests this season with their backs against the wall that they could find a way to win a game where it's elimination?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to at that point you deal with what you have, and we'll be ready. We'll have a lot of information on them, and we'll have some film on them, and then we'll react. In that game there, we may react after the Houston game. You definitely don't want to plan on losing. You don't want to send bad vibes to your team like you're expecting them to lose. So that game we probably would prepare. We'd have the information, but we wouldn't give it to the team until after the first game. Our plan going forward is Houston, and then our plan will be to go on to LSU.
Coach, you mentioned several times just the focus needs to solely be on Houston right now.
Absolutely.
Is that your number one, I guess, concern / worry going into this regional, or if not, what is?
Well, I think I don't know if it's a worry. Maybe a concern would be a good word. But I think anytime you have that big rivalry, it's pretty easy for our kids when they go in to get gas or they go to the grocery store or wherever they go this week, people talk about LSU, LSU, because the crowd and the fans, they want that matchup. But it's very important they realize that LSU's down the road, that our first step is Houston, and we need to be all in on that game. And our best chance of winning will be if we focus on that game.
Saturday after the championship, you were saying how the girls won't officially move on from that game until they hear who they're going to take up during the NCAA tournament. So now that they know, what's the morale of the team? What have you guys discussed going into this?
Yeah, I thought they were great last night, and the way their reactions were. And then this morning practice, they were really good. I was really proud. I had them I made them watch 2 games on film, and that's a long time in the film room. And they were really mature and into the film session, and something that they haven't did a lot of, but they handled it very professionally. I was proud of them. I thought it showed their desire and their focus to be well prepared and well focused for that first game.
The 2 sisters, Karen and Courtney, how important have their contributions been, and how much maybe extra do you think this might mean, them kind of going back closer home?
No, it's huge. I mean, they're corner infielders, so they're extremely valuable. They've been extremely valuable to us on defensive side of the ball. And then when they're going offensively, our ball club really goes well. Because of where they hit in the lineup, Carrie usually in the 1 or 2 spot, sometimes in the 3 spot. And then Courtney, if she's hitting well, we'll get her up there in the 4, 5, 6 spot. And so when they're both hitting well, it's huge. They're basically 25% of our ball club, when they're both on the field at the same time.
And then just in your first year here, what's it mean to clinch the program's 20th straight appearance?
Well, it definitely is a relief. I mean, I've been really disappointed not to have got in the NCAA tournament. I've never not been in the NCAA tournament as a college coach. In 10 years, I've always went to the NCAA tournament. So I really don't even know what it would feel like. But I do know it would feel terrible. Losing in the championship game was extremely hard for me. I just, you know, it hurts, and I'm sure it hurt the kids and the players. But we have to move on, and now we look forward to this challenge. But I can only imagine that our program and fans would have been devastated had we not made the NCAA tournament. But the kids actually played so well this season, there was never a doubt in my mind we were going to be in, not just with a 2 seed, but with a pretty high 2 seed. So I'm really proud of them for doing that for our program and for myself. It's a huge amount of work on their part and dedication on the kids' part.
Not looking too far ahead, but you mentioned a little bit about LSU. Just what makes them so good? What makes them a top 16 seed? What's allowed them to be successful?
You know, I played a lot against the LSU over the years, coaching at Georgia and A&M. They play defense well. They always pitch well. Their ballpark is big, so it's not a home run park at all. It's a really hard park to hit a home run in, but it's a good park to turn doubles into triples. You got a lot of space out there in the outfield. It's critical. You play a really good outfield, and I like that about our ball club. We got a really fast. No matter which 3 outfielders we go with, we got speed out there that cover a lot of ground, and LSU always has speed and quickness. So they play a short game. They always got some good hitters. They're always a well-rounded team. They play defense, they got pitching, and then their offense finds a way to win.
What sort of reaction did you get from your SEC buddies? Did any of them ask you to take care of LSU?
I can't really talk about it. You know, the SEC rule is they can't give you any scouting information. Of course, none of them would do that. So you're kind of on your own here in this situation. But a lot of rivalries here, and LSU is a very good program. But you know, you got to feel like you got a really good chance to win a regional when you play this close to home and with the rivalry and the intensity. And you know, you throw a lot of numbers out the window when you get into a really heated rivalry. And so I think that could bode well for us.